Dear viewers, my name is Zhang. I'm now covering this Qiantang River tidal bore, and we say that is the greatest tidal bore. Today is the 18th of 7th lunar month. Usually we would be celebrating this tidal view on the 18th of 8th month of the lunar calendar. Why we have advanced our activity by 1 month? Because in recent days we have already started the organization for this huge event. And over there, people say that for that white line, it's the tidal line. I don't know whether you can see it properly. Our boat is racing forward, but it feels like we are staying in the same spot because we are racing against the direction of the river water. Over there is the east. So our camera is pointing towards the eastern direction. And it's time to invite my guests. It's still very hot outside. Nearby there is the Jiangdong Bridge. In Chinese, that means the bridge located to the eastern part of the river. And above the water, it's a little bit cooler compared to the temperature on the land. Still, it's very hot because the temperature is about 40 degrees. But because I'm now surrounded by water, so it's still very okay. I'm now doing this coverage on a boat. Very soon, we're about to appreciate the Qiantang River tidal bore together. Maybe we could also be swept a little bit by our tidal bore. It's the first time for me to be so close to the tidal bore by the Qiantang River because I'm literally in the river water now. In the past, I only appreciated the tidal bore by the embankment. And today, I've got the chance to come to the surface of the river. I don't know how it will feel like when we have the waves surrounding us. So for our cameraman, it's been your second time, right? Yes, what about your previous visit? Last time, we had some motor problem with the boat, and we were caught up by the tide waves. And we had, luckily, a very experienced driver, so he changed the steer wheel of our boat. Immediately, we were swept by our tidal bore towards the embankment, and later we were very safe and we were pushed onto the shore. So we have to admit that to do the coverage, there are some risky elements. I remember during our last experience with the strong waves, there are even the fish swept into the boat, so you can catch it, right? Today we have invited an expert. Mr. Ji is the hydrologist. Just now we heard the personal experience of our cameraman. Well, Mr. Ji, is it the first time for you to view this tidal bore in the water at the riverside? Yes. I've been witnessing the Qiantang River tidal bore so many years on the shore. It's the first time for me to be here in a boat to have a closer contact with our tidal bore. I'm very excited, and also I'm a little bit nervous. For me, I learned about the tidal bore in my old days in school, and there's a description about the beautiful scene of the tidal bore, saying there's a very long line in the white color, and I feel very safe now when I'm on board. Before getting aboard, I was a little bit nervous because I was a little bit worried by the tiny size of our boat. But our professionals told me to calm down and to introduce myself to you. I'm a hydrologist. My name is Zhejiang. I'm from the Hangzhou city, more specifically from a center for the supervision of the water. In our center of supervision and monitoring, we do the tidal forecast throughout the year, especially in the lunar calendar's the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th month. It's the best moment during the year to do this activity of the tidal bore appreciation, and we would be expecting the largest number of visitors coming to our city of Hangzhou to see the tidal bore. So why the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th month of the lunar calendar? Best moment to view the tidal bore. First of all, I'd like to show you the reason behind the formation of the tides. It's due to the universal gravitation. And during the first day and the 15th day of each lunar month, you can see the recession and also the rising of the tide. In recent days, you can see the maximum water volume with our tidal bore. When you look at the Bay Area, here we have the trumpet-shaped river mouth. We have monitored this morning tide. It reached a height of 1.4 meters. The elevation is 2.88 meters. So it's the 4-star tide for us to appreciate. What do you mean by elevation? Between the lowest point and the highest point of our tide, this morning, as we have monitored, is 2.88 meters. Last year, one friend recommended to me a mini program in order to have the exact timetable for the tidal bore appreciation and view. What's the bad spot for the appreciation of the tidal bore? We have the station number 850. So today the tide has arrived 2 minutes earlier than predicted. For example, by one place called Yanguan, we have predicted the arrival of the giant tidal bore at 3:47 p.m. and it arrived at 3:45 p.m. So just 2 minutes of error. Do you have any recommendation for the spot of the tidal bore view? First of all, you can go to Xiaoshan area. Another is at Qibao or Jiuxi. In those above-mentioned places, you can find the T-shaped embankment. Over there, you can also find very steep landscape. You can also go to Yanguan or Laoyancang. Over there, you can find the tidal line in an I shape. Those are the bad spots to view the tidal bore. In the meantime, those are also the areas with the highest risks. So if you would like to participate in the view of the tidal bore, you have to listen to the instructions of the personnel working there. Today we have even created a new job opportunity. It's like the whistleblower for the coming of the tidal bore. For our obligations in the center of monitoring of the water, we give not only the information for the viewers of the tidal bore, but also for the municipal government to have a better management of the river-borne area. We have to try our best to be as precise as possible. Otherwise, it will really be difficult for our whistleblower of the arrival of the tides. And in these days, it's very hot. So we would like to give again this small tip about security to our viewers on the spot. Wherever you are, please pay attention to your environment and stay safe. And I highly recommend you to view the tidal bores online with our live coverage. Yes, exactly, because in recent days it's so hot. It would be a nice choice to stay at home and view the tidal bore with your mobile phone or with your computer. And we have run an analysis about this year's tides. This year's rainfall volume is about more than 10% less than the average of the previous years. And there's the reduction of 13.9% of the water running into the downstream area. When there's a fewer volume of the water in the river, there's more sediment. If there's more sediment in the river, it means when the tide comes, it's more difficult for it to advance. And the density of the tidal waves will also be reduced. We have collaborated with another institute to see that from Zakou to Yanguan, the volume of capacity for those tracts of the river has reduced. And there's more sediment in the river. We have also made analysis of the period between the 18th of the 6th month of lunar calendar until the 13th of the 7th lunar month. The volume of our tide bore has reduced by 0.4 to 0.8 at Qibao Station. It's down by 0.5 to 0.8. I have also analyzed the elevation yesterday and the day before yesterday. It's down by 0.3 to 0.4. In normal weather conditions, this year's tidal bore will be smaller in size in comparison with that of last year. But in general, on the 18th of the 7th lunar month this year, So we can expect to see the elevation of the tidal waves of 1.4 meters and with a 4-star of the attraction level of our tidal bore. And recently we are also in this season for the flooding and also for the typhoon. When there are strong winds, for example, the wind can push forward the tidal waves, and they can help the tidal waves to advance more quickly. This will make the whole scenery better to view. So, moving forward, we still have to keep a close eye on the development of the typhoon, because last year we had the typhoon or the eastern winds. If we have the strong winds or the typhoon in a place, then the tidal bores will also be as strong as the previous years. And with the tidal bores, there are a lot of uncertainties. We have to consider multiple elements. So now we are waiting for stronger winds. I think the stronger winds will help us to increase or intensify the tidal bores. Would you please give us the prediction? Where are the tidal bores now? We believe that in about 20 minutes they will arrive. It's almost the time. And in Yanguan Station, we have 2 minutes of delay in prediction. So here, I think the error would be about 5 minutes. So we can stay very patient. And together we can verify whether our weather forecast is correctly made or not, is precisely made or not. When I do the prediction about the tidal bores or about the weather conditions each time, I would be rather nervous to wait for the final result. Today, what are the tools you use for the predictions of the tidal bores? How you can do the predictions? In recent years, or starting by 1999, we have already started the prediction of our tidal waves. By then, we were constructing 4 bridges. And in order to put the piles into the river water, we have to do the prediction about the tidal bores. By then, we analyzed the rules of the running of the tidal bores, and we find out there is a setting of the rules to follow. At the trumpet-shaped river mouth of the Qiantang, there is also the system of the rules. In general, we have the rules setting, but from day to day, there are variations. For example, the rainfall and also the density of the wind, the intensity of the wind, as well as the landscape. All those elements would be contributing to the variation of the tidal waves on a daily basis. So when we find out there's an error in our prediction result, we cannot tell directly which part we made it wrong, because many elements they are contributing to the prediction of the tidal bores. And for the best months to view the tidal bores, for example, during the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th month of the lunar calendar, we would have a maximum of 5 minutes of delay or 5 minutes of error in our prediction. Sometimes we could be lucky enough to be very precise as to the seconds to have our tidal wave there. But you cannot guarantee the successful every time. Still today, we can use some digital technologies, the digital tools. Our city is also going through a digital transformation. We are working with the trends of our times. We are using the big data. We are using the big data and also the digital tools. I think big data is making our work more precise. Between 2019 and 2021, we were doing the calculation based on the AI and also the big data. We have used the statistics from the station of Qiantang. We have used the deep learning algorithms as well as the other types of calculation technologies to do the prediction. We have to predict the moment of the arrival of those tidal bores. We also have to predict the highest tide and also the lowest tide. We have developed 4 models. And later on, we noticed that it's not enough. We have the small, the medium, and big sizes of the tidal bores. For the small sizes of the tidal bores, it's very hard for us to be very precise. So we just select the medium size and also the big size of the tidal bores. We develop different scenarios of the calculation. And then, in total, we have built up 24 models. We have also carried out the comparison and analysis. So now we didn't figure out the reason behind, but I can share with you that with the deep learning algorithm, for the arrival of the tidal bore and for the transmission speed, we can be very precise with our deep learning algorithm. But for the prediction of the high tides and also the low tides, you have to use another set of the algorithms. So why you can have different precision level of the elements? We still have to look forward. Over there, I can see this white line. When we view that at distance, it's just a very thin line in white color. For our scientists, we say that usually we can control that error within 2 minutes. And for our public to view the tidal bore, they would start to notice the arrival of the tidal bore from the distance. So for our center to do the prediction, it's better for us to be in advance instead of being late. And with some shore areas and wetlands, you can even find the S-shaped or different other type of the tidal shapes. With the embankments and also the shores, sometimes you will see the distortion of the forms of the tidal waves. We have different dams here. For example, the T-shaped dams. And when the tidal waves hit against the embankment or against the dams, then there will be a return of the tidal waves. It's also the same case with our Changqian station. With the turning of the tidal bore, it's very beautiful. And there's rounds and rounds of waves hitting constantly on the embankments. So now we would like to change our places with the cameraman. We are also using our drones to capture that wonderful moment. With the drones, I think it's easier for all of you to capture the bigger picture of this natural wonder of the tidal bore. Now we are watching the footage captured by our drones. This drone takes off by the station number 850, and now we sit still to wait for the coming of our tidal bore. We have the eastern tides and also the southern tides. For each section of the tides, they have their own line in the white color. And when different sections of the tides come back together, they will form different shapes. In the past, I have witnessed that for one time. I was by then on the shore. We cannot guarantee the annual view for ourselves for this Qiantang River tidal bore, because we are always very busy about doing our job, like the prediction of the tidal bore. If we go out of our laboratory to view the tidal bore, then nobody would be there to do the prediction work. So when there is the coming of the giant tides, usually we would be staying in our offices to do the analysis based on the statistics. For example, the water pouring from the upstream area and also the rainfall volume. We have to be very careful with our prediction based on the technologies and the data. If we only count on our past experience, we cannot do a very good job with our prediction. During the 3 months, the 7th, the 8th, and also the 9th lunar months, in our center, we would organize a team of experts. They will do the prediction and judgment on a daily basis. For the Changqian station at Xiaoshan district, every day we will meet up for common consultation. For the 3 months above mentioned, for every month, we would spend several hours per day to do the prediction of the tidal bore. We don't have a fixed model to follow on a daily basis. We have to consider different factors of the weather. in different weather conditions, there will be bigger or smaller sizes of the tidal bore. Especially during the great season of the tides. In the morning, we can draw some conclusion, and suddenly at noon, the weather conditions will change, and we have to renew our prediction results in the afternoon. For weather conditions, if there are no significant shift in the conditions, then it's okay to keep that original prediction. But if there is the sudden landing of the typhoon, we have to keep our prediction updated on a regular basis. Because you know the typhoon would be moving very fast, and sometimes they will make some shifts and turns. A lot of countries in the world, they do the prediction of the movement of the typhoons. And when they turn or when they shift in direction, there will be also the significant change with their volume of rainfall and the intensity of the wind carried by or generated by this typhoon. Now from our live streaming image, you can see that our drone took off. That is the line of the tidal bore. It's so clear. Now we are watching the images captured by our drones. And our drone is flying above the bridge. That is magnificent. That is a very straight line. It's very beautiful.
只是看像千军万马奔腾而来。
Seems like thousands of horses are racing towards our side. The tidal bore is coming nearer and nearer to our side. Looks like thousands of horses coming to our side, and if we can get to see that more closely, it would be more breathtaking. By the side, these are other types or other shapes of the tidal bores. By the side, they are broken down. It's not like what we have just witnessed, a single straight line, but here some of the sections of the tidal bore have been broken down. That's why you can see the smaller white lines, because when you move from the center of the river towards the shore area, you can find more sediment. Now we are watching the images captured by our drones. Maybe later I can share with you the photos of the surfers on the tides of the Qiantang River. Surfing is a sport more popular among the foreigners. In that photos, you can see a lot of foreign surfers. When we are on the shore, when we are on the riverbanks, we would only enjoy the Qiantang River tidal bore from distance. But for the surfers, they can have this personal experience, zero distance contact with our tides. And when they are with the water, you can see the comparison of the size between a human being and the tide. For the textbooks of our students in primary schools, when they reach the grade 4, then in their first lesson of Chinese language, they will learn something about the Qiantang River tidal bore. Now you can see the tidal water is pouring forward.
您从水文专家的角度和我们从普通人的角度看这个潮水是有什么不一样的？
Because you are looking at this tidal bore from the point of view of the hydrologist, and we are viewing the tidal bore from the perspective of ordinary people.
那边的潮水已经要快一点，说明那边呢应该是个这个河道比较深一点，它跑这边的浅。你看这边。
And now we can see the tidal line is moving at different rhythm from one extreme to another extreme. The other extreme is advancing more quickly. And we are on board of a boat. It's like we are inviting our tidal bore to come forward and still come forward.
已经过桥了，过了我们这个江东大桥。
潮水已经过了江东大桥。
哇，这样子看真的好壮观。我们的船也越开越快了。
And now, as you can see from the image, this Qiantang River tidal bore has already traveled through this great bridge of the Jiangdong.
对，是的。我觉得可能在草原
And
上。
tidal waves, they are sweeping around.
小伙伴们可能会有这样的一种感觉，就是。
Sometimes I even have this illusion that we are not at the surface of the river. It's like I'm on grassland in northern part of China, and in the grasslands, thousands and hundreds of the horses are racing forward.
就是完完整整的一线潮。
And that long straight line in white color is still very intact. It's not broken down for the majority part. For this section of the river, we have greater possibility to see the complete straight long line of the tidal waves. It's the first time for all of us to have this close contact with the tidal bore. Did you see that? Now, in this image captured by our drone, that racing boat is where we are now. That is our boat. So this is our perspective from the boat. When we are at the river water level, and we feel that the tides are much higher. When we do the prediction at the spot of the Changqian station, we say it would be 1.4 meters of high. And for our viewers, usually they would be standing on the shore or on the river banks, because they are already standing at a relatively high place. So 1.4 meters of the predicted height of the tidal waves may not seem as high as expected. But now we are sitting on a boat. This 1.4 meters of height would be exaggerated even.
可以看到我们的船就在这里。
哦，这个就是我们，好小啊。
Now in this image you can see our boat. Our boat seems so tiny in comparison with that racing tidal bore. The Qiantang River tidal bore is magnificent. That's why the tidal bore of the Qiantang River has attracted so many viewers. And for our audience online, I also would like to send invitation to all of you. I hope that one day you could come to our city of Hangzhou to view in your own eyes the beauty of the tidal bores. And for our viewers now on the shore, I hope that you would watch out and I hope you would obey the instructions of our personnel. Please stay safe. Some people would risk their lives to stand on the T-shaped dams, but we really would like everyone to stay safe and don't go to those dangerous places. It's not allowed for people to go to the T-shaped dams in such a special moment because you will be swept away by the huge waves of our tidal bore. Now the tidal waves are chasing after us. We almost arrived at the Changqian station for the hydrology observation. Yesterday we made the prediction that the tidal bore would pass the station by 5 to 3 p.m. We still have 6 minutes to go. Will the tidal bore pass our station of observation 6 minutes later? Just now we have already checked out the error of our prediction by the station of the Xiaoshan. In that spot, the error of our prediction was 2 minutes. Now you can see a lot of viewers. They are standing on the shore. The Qiantang River tidal bore is magnificent. We also say it's the most famous tidal bore in the whole world. Many people have come to the side of the river in order to have some personal experience of the tidal bore view. Look at the waves. They're really high waves. To this side, the tidal waves are pouring forward like a huge wall, but to the other side, it will look differently. Especially when the tidal bores gets near to the embankment, then some part of the tidal line would be broken down. You have this famous site for tidal bore viewing of Xiaoshan district. Now it's 2:54 p.m. So for our prediction results of the arrival of our tidal bore, there's the error of 1 minute only. Yesterday I was a little bit nervous because during today's live streaming program, we're about to verify the precision degree of our prediction level. Yesterday I was thinking hopefully the error would be no more than 5 minutes. And today it turns out that error was only 1 minute. But still we have to admit that every day when we repeat the prediction work about the arrival time of the tidal bores, the error level can be different from day to day. Now we have received a lot of comments in our online platform. They told me that they have already visited the city of Hangzhou in order to view the Qiantang River tidal bore with their own eyes. And here I also would like to send the invitation to more people that have not yet had the opportunity to come to this place to see the tidal bore. Please come Sunday. In front of us, we have this beauty dam. Maybe over there you can see the returning of the tidal bore. With the beauty dam, there is a T-shaped dam, a T-shaped embankment. And with the T-shaped embankment, we can create the returning tidal bore. Or later we can wait and see if we could enjoy that beautiful view. We find there are more people waiting on the shore by this beauty dam. There are also policemen guarding the site. Still, we would like to share this message to all our viewers on the spot. Please watch out and stay safe. And our online viewers have also left messages to us saying that it's really magnificent, even though we can only stay at home and view the tidal bore with our phones and PC. We received a message saying that before we can see the tidal bore, you can already hear that huge sound. Back in 2011-2012, we were organizing a meeting to do the prediction about the huge tidal bore on the 18th of the 8th lunar month. And we have developed some methods to tell the arrival of the tidal bore. One way is to use the sound system. We can use the sound system to capture that moment of the arrival of our tidal bore. You can use the images, and also you can use the sound detection. You can also test the speed of the running of the tidal water. When there is the shift of the direction of running of the tidal bore, that wave is very huge. It's what we call the returning tidal wave. And this is the footage from our surveillance camera in the Beauty Dam. Now it's from the perspective of our racing boat. We can hear a lot of noises. What is the next spot of observation? It's in the Qige station. And in the station of Qige, we have already reported that the helicopter has taken off. We have also cleaned away all the ships floating on the river. That is for the consideration of their security. Before the arrival of the tidal bore, we urge the owners of those boats to stop their operation at the river. And also they have to take some measures to protect their boats. And for people who love fishing, we also urge them to stay on the shore on the embankments. And we ask them to stay away from the river. And when the tidal waves are coming, we also urge our citizens to abandon the swimming activity in the river. Dear viewers, good afternoon. We are now by the side of the Qiantang River. This is my guest. Please say hi to everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Yang Yanyan. I'm from the administration of waterworks from the city of Hangzhou. Now we can talk about the tidal wars. Behind us, we have the Zhejiang new city. Where are our tidal waves now? They have just traveled past the Qige station. That used to be a very famous spot for the viewers to see the tidal wars. In about half an hour, they will reach our spot. So very quickly, could you please give us your comment on today's tidal war? Compared to last year's tidal war, this year's tidal war is a little bit smaller. But still, if you are in this racing boat, you can see how those tidal waves, they are soaring forward. Previously, we have already talked about the station of the number 850 and also the station of the Qige, and sometimes by the shore area and also the wetland area, you can find the smaller sizes of the tidal war in the form of the scale of the fish. All those tide waves, they have hit on the T-shaped dams. And then the waves will be broken down into the smaller pieces. And when they pass through that T-shaped dam, they will continue to be reunited with the majority line. You also have to look at the speed of advancement of the tidal bore. All those broken parts, they will be reunited by the main body of this tidal line. In about half an hour, the tidal line will reach our spot. Previously, we have already listened to Mr. Ji. Elevation is less than 1 meter. At our spot, we're about to see a 2-star tidal war. Last year, it was 3-star. From Qige Station to our port of Olympics, are there any spots for the viewing of the tidal wars? First of all, I'd like to talk about that Beauty Dam. The Beauty Dam is an ideal place to view the tidal war. Is that place where we have discovered a small boat? Yes, exactly. With the Beauty Dam, the biggest feature is with the returning tidal bore. Because with the advancement of the tidal waves, and suddenly there is the block, which is the Beauty Dam, and the dam will block the further advancement of the tidal bore. The tidal water will start to return and pour back. It's like the tidal waves hitting the wall, and they will go back. And sometimes there will be the splashing of the water in the air. With the Qige station, we have noticed that some of the embankments are submerged by our tidal waves. For this boat, it's about to be taken to the middle of the river. Why is that? Because normally we urge all the boats to leave the river when there is the arrival of the tidal bore. Usually, those boats, they are parked by the riverside. And when there's the coming of the tidal bore, they will start to hit very hard on the embankment. If we take the boat to the middle of the water instead, then you can feel some small ups and downs of the boat. It's a very rare experience. We will stay on board, and we can feel the sweeping waves of the Qiantang River. We can feel the strength of the tidal bore. Over there will be many other fishing boats. Each time when there is the arrival of the tidal bore, will the owners of those fishing boats receive any tips or message from the government? For the smaller sizes of the fish boats, they don't have the capacity to confront directly with the tidal bore. They have to go into the harbor to hide away from the tidal bore. For those boats that we have witnessed now, they are already fixated by some streams of ropes. They are fixated, so they will not be taken away by the tidal bores. Later on, you're about to see the fluctuations of our waves. Maybe we can now go into the cabin. Very soon, we're about to make the transfer. We're about to go into the middle of the river. We can do the calculation. 20 minutes before the arrival of the tidal bore, we have to start the engine because we have to cut off the electricity supply. Maybe we can check out. We can pay a visit to the cabin of the drivers. And inside, we also have a cooler temperature. Just now, my colleague gave to you another perspective from the racing boat. The racing boat advances at a very fast speed, so in that racing boat, it feels quite okay with the temperature. For the larger boats and also the smaller boats, are they following different procedures? They all have the same procedure to avoid the tidal bore. We're now in the driver's cabin. We have to cut off the electricity. Maybe we can give that professional question to our driver, because every day there is the rising tide and also the ebbing. And we have several captains, we have several drivers on duty. They are taking a shift. Here's the daytime tide and also the nighttime tide. So in the afternoon, by around 2 p.m., you have to operate according to the procedure, and by 2 a.m. they have to repeat this process to stay away from the tidal bore. Why don't they just park the boats in the harbor? Because normally they will take the break in this spot, and for the other boat, they have already started the journey. Maybe we have to go one after another. Our driver is now away to do the preparation. When he's back, we can give that question to the driver. And now we can keep an eye on the upcoming tidal bore. As we have mentioned before, our driver, our captain, he is outside on the deck to cut off the electricity. Very soon, he's about to come back to the cabin and join us. Over there is the driver. If the tides are attenuated by the spot, could we save this part? Could we just stay here? Normally, each time when there is the tide, we have to go away. We have to move towards the middle part of the river. Now our captain has started his operation. Safety is the #1 principle. So are we going towards the middle part of the river? Yes, exactly. We are about to reach the spot of Sanbao. At the spot of Sanbao, we can see more beautiful tidal board. We can wait for about 10 minutes and then we can see the tide. Over the past years, we have also carried out the same live streaming coverage. And previously, we have set up our observation spot there. I remember that once there are rising waves and also the splashing of the water. We have talked about different types of the tide shapes. For example, the straight line shaped tide and also the returning tides. For the tidal water, we have multiple spots of observation. Here, for example, we have 6 of them in Hangzhou City. We have 2 others in Haining City. In total, 8 very famous spots of observation. We have previously mentioned the Qibao station and also the Beauty Dam station. In the Hangzhou City, you can see all 3 types of the tides, like the straight line tide, the returning tide, and also the splashing tide. And there are also the crossing tides. In most cases here, we can only see the straight line shaped tide. What about the crossing tides? It depends on the underwater landscape. When 2 tides coming from different directions, they will meet each other, then they will pass each other, and then you can see the cross. I also look forward to seeing one crossing tide one day, but in Hangzhou, it's quite difficult for us to see that. I think currently the tidal board has passed Qige. They must reach the Qibao station. From Qige station to Qibao station, usually it will take 10 minutes. Now for our ship, we are leaving the shore. We are leaving the port of Olympics. We can turn around our camera. By our side, you can see the stadium. We will move towards the middle part of the river and we will stay there for some time, so everyone can enjoy a better view of the tidal bore. How many years have you worked here? It's been 2 decades that I've been working in the hydrology department, but I'm just a newcomer for the prevention and control of the tidal bore. There are a lot of stories to tell about the tidal bore. And today we would like to make sure that we can enjoy the tidal bore in a very safe and sound manner. Maybe we can go outside the cabin so we can also hear the sounds of our waves.
可以看到我们这边随着我们船在往前行驶，我们这边已经正面，我们的正左方就是我们的
Our ship is advancing now.
大金球和月亮。
我觉得现在船开起来还是有一点点的晃，对吧？
也请我们摄像大哥
Now,
注意安全。
我觉得这个风是挺大的，但是风有
we can feel some turbulences. There's the breeze. Will the wind have an impact on the tidal bores? Yes. I'm not an expert on the tides, but still I can tell you that when there's a tide and there is the support of our wings, then the tidal waves would be stronger. They would be intensified. I think it's almost the hottest moment. Outside, the temperature is more than 40 degrees Celsius. It's already the typhoon season. In this year, we have fewer typhoons, and the typhoon can also intensify the waves. For our viewers that have just checked in our platform, you can go back to the previous site. You can go through the previous parts of our live streaming program. From the footage captured by our drones, it seems like the elevation of our tidal waves can reach 2 meters. I read the prediction results about the tidal bores. They have categorized the tidal quality into 5 levels, 1 star to 5 stars. Last year with Qige, they could reach 4 stars, but this year it's only 3-star level. For the station of 850, the tidal height is a little bit higher than the predicted level. When we stay on the surface of the river, we can feel that the tidal waves are higher and stronger. Usually, we say that the best moment to enjoy the Qiantang River tidal bore is the 18th of the 8th lunar month. And today is just 1 month in advance. Today is the 18th of the 7th lunar month. For last year and the year before the last year, usually 1 month before the 18th of the 8th lunar month, you can also see rather big tidal bores. For the other visitors, they may only know that there are very huge tides on the 18th of the 8th lunar month. Usually they didn't know that there is another session of very huge tides on the 18th of the 7th lunar month. And it's not exactly on the 18th. It's between the 15th and 20th of the 7th lunar month or the 8th lunar month. You can have more possibility to view the strong tidal bores. If you want to enjoy the tidal bores, you can come between the 15th and 20th of the lunar month or the 1st to the 3rd of the lunar month. Actually, if you would like to see a normal tide or ordinary tide, it happens every day and twice a day. There's the morning tide and also the evening tide. So tides are there every day. It's just a matter of the size and volume. Some people, they will like to swim in a river, and they will think today is not that day of the biggest tides. It's not the 18th, so it's okay, we can go into the water. But that is very imprudent, because every day we have the tides. When we look at the other side, are the tides coming now? You can find some early signs towards the shore. Apart from the two moments, one in the daytime and another in nighttime, of the rising tides, can you find other moments throughout the day or throughout the night? The tidal movements. What about that part? I think that is the pioneering part of the tide. Now we can feel the fluctuations of the waves. You can feel the ups and downs. By the shore, towards the shore, you can see very small parts in white color. And in the middle of the river, we can feel very obvious fluctuations. There are obvious ups and downs. You can look at the deck, and we can also feel that strong movement of the water. So maybe the tides are already there with us. But the main body, the main part of the tides are still some distance away. I think the tides they have already passed. Just now when we experienced that turbulences, I think it's the tide passing through. Still now we can feel some ups and downs. Some hidden waves, they are still hitting on the body of the ship. Over there is the gateway of Sanbao. In the distance, you can see different layers of the waves. It means that that part has already been swept by the tidal water. Over there, it's also a favorite spot of the media. Every time when there is the tidal bore passing by, there would be some rising sea level. And when the tide fades away, there would be some river creatures left. For example, the river turtles, river fish. And even when there is the ebbing of the tide, you should not go directly to the wetland or to the shore area. In the past, I heard that some people were there to capture the river creatures, the animals, the fish, the turtles. They thought it was safe to go. But when they arrived on the lower parts, immediately there's another round of strong waves carrying this person away. And some people would just sadly lost their lives to those tidal waves. Between the coming and leaving of the tidal waves is the most dangerous part. And there is also the dangerous area, the shore area. For the sites of observation of the tides, usually for the best spots to view the tidal bores, is also the most dangerous part, most dangerous sites. So for our viewers, how can they balance the two sides? How can they enjoy the view of the tidal bores while protecting themselves? Do you have any tips for them? Any recommendations? Especially, I would like to send the message to non-locals, because they don't know how dangerous the tidal waves are. They would think that the Qiantang River is similar to the other rivers. And also, when we do the education campaign, we would consider the students as a priority group. By the side of the river, you can also find a lot of signboards